guys, welcome back to my channel. So first and foremost, Happy New Year, Happy 2021. It's really hard to believe it's here, although 2020 was so rough. This can't come soon enough, as I'm sure you all agree with me. So first of all, Happy New Year. I hope you had an amazing New Year, spent at home, probably intimately with your family like we did. And since the new year, I wanted to take a few minutes just to kind of reflect back on 2020, my reselling journey and experience. And today I want to share with you my top sales of 2020. So if you want to check out the top sales I made on both Poshmark and eBay for 2020, definitely keep on watching. For those of you who might be new here, thanks so much for checking this out. I'm a full-time working mom, but in my spare time, I really love making these videos on fashion, beauty, mommy lifestyle, in addition to my reselling experience as well. So if that kind of thing sounds at all interesting, definitely check out my other videos. I've linked them down below, and please also consider subscribing. That'll really help me out as well. So for today, again, I wanted to reflect back on the year 2020, not for all of the craziness that it was, but really for how my reselling journey was. And I've been reselling now for a couple of years, and last year was overall, I would say, a good one for me. So I wanted to share with you guys my top sales of 2020 in hopes that these might kind of clue you into some brands that I think are hot these days and selling well, and ones that you might want to be looking out for as well when you're sourcing your own closets. So I will be sharing with you about 12 different items that I sold on Poshmark and eBay. All of them sold for at least $100. I will share with you the sales price, but I'm not actually going to be disclosing the cost of goods information in this particular video, but I do share all that information in my haul videos, and I've linked some haul videos down below in case you want to check them out as well. And just as a quick reminder, if you are new to Poshmark, I do have a referral code. It's MODMOMMD, that's MODMOMMD. So if you're new to Poshmark and decide to make your first purchase, you will save $10 using that code in case you want to check out some of these things on Poshmark. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump into my top sales for this year. And just as a whole, and looking at some of the numbers, it seemed that about 30% of these sales are on eBay, which makes sense because I started my eBay store really toward the end of the year. So I think that 30% cutoff for my eBay sales versus Poshmark seems pretty reasonable to me. And you'll also see that about 50% of these sales are retail arbitrage. So as we've seen in previous videos, because of the pandemic, I really hadn't gone thrifting for about 9 months during 2020. And because of that, I started to get a little bit more into retail arbitrage. To be honest, still, I don't think it's as successful as sourcing through thrifting. And I hope to do a future follow-up video about my experiences on retail arbitrage in the future. But overall, I would say I did make a decent amount of these higher price sales from retail arbitrage. You will have to keep in mind though, of course, if the items are sold via retail arbitrage, my cost of goods are quite higher than if they weren't. So definitely keep that in mind. So I'm going to be sharing with you my total sales price, not necessarily my profit. So that's something to always be wary of. So I'm going to go ahead and just get started here. And I'm going to be putting up the pictures of the items that I sold here on the side so you can take a look at what that item actually looks like. And again, I will be sharing you through what they sold for. I'm going to kind of ramp up in traditional fashions. I will start at the lower end of the list here and then end with my best sale that I made in 2020. So the first item that sold in 2020 for $100 was this beautiful pair of Ariat's Caballera leather square toe western boots. I sold them for $100 on Poshmark, and they were in a size 8. So I don't have much experience selling this western wear cowboy type of boots. I did source this at a thrift store in Southern California, where I definitely find more western style boots versus Northern California, that is. But I just fell in love with it. It was a beautiful design, as you can see here, excellent condition. And when I looked this brand up, I realized that this brand resells for quite a bit. So going forward, I definitely am going to keep trying to source Ariat if I can find them. Again, I really don't find them much in Northern California, but if you're out there and find Ariat, I think it does really well. I've also sold an item from their clothing line too, which also flipped for quite a bit too. So I think this is definitely a brand to look for. If you can find a boot in good condition like this, it has a really high resale value, I'll say. For instance, I believe these boots retailed for $250 and I sold them for $100, which really isn't bad, I would say. So the next item that sold for $100 was a retail arbitrage item, and this was the Rock Revival Moto Gabby denim shorts. It was new at tags because it was retail arbitrage. It was a size 24. So I do like selling Rock Revival. I've had decent experience selling thrifted Rock Revival items before, so I wanted to try them from a retail arbitrage perspective. Overall, I don't think it's quite as successful, I'll say, but this particular shorts was an exception. I think the style was just super unique. There weren't many of them, so I think they're really sought after. And just look at this dye and wash. It's just really cool. So this item got a lot of attention right away, and I was really happy to sell it really quickly, I would say, for $100. And I sold this on Poshmark. So going forward, I am going to keep picking up Rock Revival. I think I'm probably going to steer clear of picking it up in the retail arbitrage format though, but if I find it out thrifting, I think it's still worthwhile picking up. I always remind people that if you're looking for Rock Revival, be careful about finding Rock Republic or Rock and Republic, because that brand, I believe, is sold at Kohl's and definitely doesn't command as high of a resale value, obviously, as Rock Revival does. So just be wary of that brand. But Rock Revival, I think, still does pretty well, although I'd be a little wary about retail arbitrage. All right, so the next item that sold for $100 was this beautiful coat, and I saw this really early on in the year, and it's this coat from Athleta. It's a black goose down puffer jacket, as you can see here. It was in excellent, like new condition. It was just a gorgeous black puffer coat, and even this year currently, I think puffer coats are still really hot, and this one from Athleta was just a beautiful one. So this was a no-brainer when I picked this out sourcing at my local Goodwill. So I did sell this for $100, and again, this did sell on Poshmark, which I was super happy about. All right, the next item I count as one item, although technically it's two specific items, but it's the same shoe. So I sold two of the same boot, both for $100. So I sold this Free People Haze heeled boot, and I have a black colorway, as you can see here, and then I also sold one in a brown or mahogany color. They're in all leather, and I sold the black one in size 8 and the brown one in size 6. So retail arbitrage and Free People for me have done okay, I will say. Better than other brands in retail arbitrage. So I found these beautiful pair of boots when I was out sourcing, and I decided to pick them up. And again, they were brand new, and as you can see here, really, really cool style. So I sold the black ones first, and then ultimately sold the brown ones several months later, but they both moved within less than 6 months, which for me in retail arbitrage is quite good. So I was very pleased with this purchase. And I made a decent profit on these as well, which I was extra happy about. I sold both of them on Poshmark as well. So going forward, I think Free People retail arbitrage still can be pretty successful. So those were all the sales I made for $100. And then moving up to the next sale that was $105 was this beautiful pair of Tony Lama leather lizard detail boots, as you can see here, and it was embroidered, and another pair of cowboy boots. So just like the Ariat versions, these were just gorgeous. This is from a brand, Tony Lama, which again, like Ariat, really does really well, I'll say, in the retail aspect and resale aspect as well. So overall, I was very pleased with these. Again, I source these, of course, in Southern California. I don't find cowboy boots here in Northern California much, but if you can find this brand, Tony Lama, I think it's really worthwhile checking out. So these were just really showstoppers, as you can see here. Gorgeous condition, just beautiful, beautiful pair of boots. And I sold them, again, in a size 8 on Poshmark. So next item that sold for the $105 price point as well was this beautiful pair of shooty booty type of flats from Free People, and this is another Free People retail arbitrage attempt. So again, this can still do pretty well. This is in a beautiful onyx colorway, and it was in a size 7. And this item I ultimately sold for $105 again, and this did sell on eBay. So on eBay, I'm still playing around with how to do shipping, but on this one I did charge shipping for, so the cost or the price that I actually sold the item for did not include shipping, which seemed to work out fine for me. So I did sell it for the full $105. So overall, I really like this particular style. I do own a similar colorway of this particular shoe, and it's a very popular classic style, I think. So again, retail arbitrage for certain types of Free People items, I think still is a good option. The next item that sold, again from retail arbitrage, was this Madewell tote. It was just gorgeous, you can see here. It was called the Madewell Elsewhere Tie Crossbody Leather Tote. I just love this colorway. I love the style of having a crossbody strap option, but also a hand carry style. So this purse really was up my alley. I essentially purchased it in the back of my mind thinking that I would love to keep this if for some reason it doesn't sell. So that's kind of how I justified the purchase. But it actually sold pretty quickly. It did get a lot of attention on Poshmark as well, but ultimately did sell on eBay. So I ultimately sold this tote for $108 on eBay after a little bit of negotiation with the buyer. And for this one, I charged a little too low for shipping. So I believe I only charged $7 for shipping. And on eBay, I still am shipping everything by priority mail, just because for me it's the easiest, because that's what Poshmark uses. So I can use the same boxes and just wrap it the same way. So I do ship everything priority. So on priority mail, $7 doesn't cut it for this kind of tote. So I ended up paying quite a bit more out of my own pocket for it. So, you know, in your mind, kind of subtract from $108 what my true profits would be. So I didn't make a whole lot off of this particular tote because it was retail arbitrage and I had to pay an extra amount for shipping. But the actual sales price was $108. So nonetheless, I was still happy about it. I made a little bit of profit, so it was worth my time because I really love sourcing this purse. So again, I think Madewell is another brand besides Free People that I've been really enjoying kind of exploring retail arbitrage with. So I've had some other Madewell videos that I will link down below in case you're curious. But I think it's another brand that potentially can do well as well. So the next item that I sold on my top list of sales for 2020 was this beautiful pair of boots. It's from Fry. It was the Natalie Engineer short black leather boot. And this boot's retail for $348. And this one was in excellent condition. There really was no significant sign of wear. It had a beautiful buckle detail, and you can tell the Fry quality leather is just so gorgeous. So I was very happy to find this, believe it or not, in one of my ThredUp Rescue shoe boxes. I couldn't believe it. I was super excited about it. So this is a great item from one of those boxes, and it got a lot of attention both on Poshmark and eBay, and there are several buyers out there that I kind of went back and forth with quite a bit in terms of finding a good sales price, and we just couldn't come to one we could agree on. But ultimately, I was able to sell it for a reasonable price on Poshmark for $125, which I was really happy about. This was a great purchase, and I got it from a ThredUp shoe rescue box. So I think that was a great opportunity to source, especially during the pandemic when I just wasn't able to go out thrifting. So this is a gorgeous pair of Fry boots, and again, Fry in general does very well on both platforms. So I'm always looking out for Fry boots, and this was a classic example of it. The next item that sold was also sold on Poshmark, and this was an attempt at retail arbitrage, again by Madewell. Like I mentioned before, I really got into some Madewell retail arbitrage this year, and this was a beautiful pair of booties again, and it was the Hallie black leather bootie. Again, it was new with tags because it was brand new retail arbitrage, and it was in a size 9. So ultimately, I did sell this for $125, which was actually pretty close to my asking price, which I was very happy about. I was really excited to move these booties along. I did make a decent profit off of these as well, and I could tell when I purchased these that they would do well. I mean, look at the style. It's very classic, beautiful black leather boots from Madewell. I mean, you just can't go wrong with these classics. So again, something to definitely consider would be retail arbitrage through Madewell. Okay, so I just have my top 2 sales left for 2020, and the next sale that I wanted to share with you guys was a sale on Poshmark again, and it was a thrifted item. It was this beautiful dress from Diane von Furstenberg, and it was 100% silk. It was a wrap dress in a size 10. I did source this at a Goodwill in Southern California, which I will link down below in case you're curious, but I was really happy to find this. I've only found really nice Diane von Furstenberg dresses a handful of times, so when I came across this one, it was just gorgeous. I was really excited about it. I did ultimately sell it for $150, which was a great price for me, especially on a thrifted item. And going forward, yes, I always look at Diane von Furstenberg. These dresses are just gorgeous and really sought after. I think her classic wrap dress, like this style, does extra well, especially if it's in beautiful 100% silk like this dress was. So I think this was a gorgeous dress, a great find, and I was super happy to move this along in the middle of the year last year. Okay, so drum roll please, we have our final top sale of 2020, and as a quick disclaimer, you know, I'm just a part-time reseller. This is totally a hobby, so these numbers for you may not be all that great, I'll say. I think a lot of people have a lot higher end price sales. In fact, the year prior, so in 2019, I had even higher price sales, but that was because a lot of those items were some purses and handbags from my personal closet, which had a pretty high retail value, so my resale value was still pretty high. So those numbers were even higher. But this year I didn't sell any of those particular purses from my own closet, at least the higher end purses. So that kind of affected my sales a little bit. So a lot of these, actually all of these, were really thrifted or sourced items. None of these were my own personal items. But overall, I'll say that my price points aren't all that great compared to other people, but for me, these are pretty good, especially if you can find these brands and items out thrifting. You can make a decent profit off of. And even if you can't go thrifting, like I couldn't because of coronavirus this past year, I still was able to make a little profit from retail arbitrage. So this is definitely a fun hobby for me, and I really am looking forward to expanding things as I go into 2021. Okay, enough rambling. The top sale that I made, at least for 2020, was actually on eBay, believe it or not. And I just started my eBay store a few months ago, and this was my very first eBay sale, which kind of got me more interested into eBay and to see what the possibilities would be on that platform. So this particular set, I'll say, is from Ted Baker. So as you can see here, it's just really gorgeous and cool, very trendy. It came as a set, so it was the Jeannie crop top and the Zammy midi skirt. So those are the two names of the pieces. They're separates. And I saw this sold on Poshmark and eBay before as separate, so I think that those particular sellers didn't have the set. So I thought it was really special that I found the set together, which I was really happy about. This was in a US size 6, or 4 to 6, I'll say. Ted Baker sizing is different than US sizing, as you all probably know, but just be wary of that. So this was a Ted Baker size 2, which equals a US size 4 to 6. So I included that in the listing. I also, of course, included measurements as well of both items. And this was in really like new condition, just gorgeous. So again, this was a super trendy piece. Ted Baker is also a very hot brand that is still trending. So for all these reasons, this was a no-brainer when I found this out when I was sourcing. Really happy about this one. And ultimately, this item or set did sell for $155 on eBay, which was my top sale of 2020. Just to be wary though, out of that sales price, I did have to subtract shipping. Because this is my very first eBay sale, I didn't really know what to do with shipping, so I decided to include free shipping in my item. So I had to pay for shipping out of my pocket. So the $155 sales price does not include shipping, which I had to pay for, and I shipped it by priority mail. So I believe it was probably about $15 to ship this item out. So you have to subtract that from the sales price. But overall, this was technically my top sale of 2020, and it sold on eBay, which I was super happy about. I also had it cross-listed on Poshmark, and it also got a lot of attention. So yes, if you find an item like this out there, there's no question about this, it's going to do well. So definitely keep your eye out for these kind of items. Okay, so I think that does it. Those are my top sales of 2020. So for me overall, I was pretty pleased. I think it was a nice mix of both retail arbitrage and thrifted items, and also a nice mix of eBay and Poshmark. So kind of reflected my year pretty well, I'll say, in terms of how I did in terms of my closet. So overall, I'm so thankful for all the sales I made in 2020, and I'm really looking forward to 2021. A fresh new year is always very exciting for me for many reasons, but especially as a reseller, I think it's always nice to get a fresh start and to make some goals for the years ahead. So I actually am going to put together a video on my goals in terms of reselling, so I hope you will check that out. It was going to hopefully go live in the next few weeks. So if you made any amazing sales in 2020, definitely leave them down in the comments below. I'm always super excited to hear about what kind of sales other people are making as well. Otherwise, thanks again for watching another video, supporting me throughout the entire year last year, and I really look forward to making a lot more fun reselling content as we go forward in 2021. Happy New Year again, and I will see you again in my next video. Take care. Bye.